Next in line would be the BYOD Health Risks discussion presented by Todd Lizotte, U.S. Director, Emerging Technologies, Hitachi Via Mechanics USA, Inc., and Laser Energetics and Material International Laboratory. Mr. Lizotte.
Well, good evening. My name is Todd Lizotte. I'm going to talk about some of the health risks. The reality here is not to talk about the health risks in regards to saying that this is a bad idea or not, but to identify certain things that I think might come into play when kids are allowed to use devices more often. I regulate my kids in regards to their use in a day-to-day basis and monitor the time that they are on the computer, and I always make sure that they have an equal amount of time off the computer as on the computer in order to try to limit some of these health risks. One of the things that I'm going to talk about tonight is about eyes, hands, and back, and neck, and just go over why this is a concern with kids today in texting and operating a lot of these types of devices. So the main categories that I'm going to go over deal with what they call computer vision syndrome, which talks about eye strain, blurred vision, double vision, texting and thumb and repetitive stress injuries. One of the terms that's called is BlackBerry thumb, used to be called Nintendo thumb. Teen texting tendinitis, and also early onset of arthritis, which actually in regards to pediatric medicine, they say there's a tendency for girls to have this problem more than boys, just based on the musculoskeletal differences between them. The other thing is neck injuries, and the idea of looking down at the device, or your posture, or hunkering over in a chair and kind of leaning into these types of devices. So it's something that needs to be considered when looking at these types of devices and the uses of those devices. Now, and I have some reference material below on these. So let's look at computer vision syndrome. The key with this type of thing is the eye strain issues. And what most people don't understand is that when you're concentrating on a computer, the brightness of that computer and the brightness settings on the computer should be adjusted in order so you're not saturating your eyes. The next thing is that you should have that monitor about between 20 and 24 inches away from your face. The other thing is that the dimming of lights, the surrounding lights, also helps with reducing that eye strain, and also it allows you to limit your how you concentrate your eyes onto that screen. Because one of the things that happens with where you have a bright environment with a bright screen is that you tend to your brain kind of shuts down the blink mechanism, and your eyes end up start to dry out, and in specific spots, so it ends to basically have eye pain, and that's the pain that you feel when you're really concentrating on the computer, and your blinking starts to slow, and then that dryness takes place. The other thing with this is that how you set your screen up and the resolution that you choose should be looked at for your children, especially young kids, because the tendency is to try to get a lot of things onto a screen rather than try to increase the font size and such, and so that needs to be taken into consideration. One of the things that on one of the AOA, American Optometric Association, took this type of approach, talking about these 6 steps. Daily dose it, basically timed according to age, and looking at and limiting the time. De-glare it, keep the monitor clean, use glare-reducing monitor filters. Break it every hour. Your child takes a 10-minute break from the computer. Face it. Once again, as I mentioned, the 20 to 24 inch away from your child's face. Wear it. Wearing prescription glasses while using, if they have them, while they're on the screen, instead of them trying to get closer or far away and such. To use the reading glasses, and then time it. And which is interesting, talking about everything in moderation, try to limit their use of it, or make sure that they're using it for a productive purpose, instead of just not, continuously working on it and such for no reason, other than maybe to talk with their friends. The next subject is texting, thumb and repetitive stress injuries, and what we're talking here is BlackBerry thumb. And the idea there is the fact that the kids are utilizing their devices. Now I'll take my device here, and if I open it up and put the small type screen in, the idea is I'm holding this device and I'm using my thumbs for typing. These hands were not developed for typing with the thumb. And the problem there is that, and this is on one of the statistics is that a lot of kids are getting, when they start having these devices, they're starting to look at racing each other, how many text messages that they can do in a day, how many text messages they can do in a month. There's been a commercial talking about the fastest person who can text, the fastest text message that they can do with a number of characters that they can type. And one of the things is that this type of repetitive motion will end up giving you thumb injuries or tendonitis, and could lead to more severe problems later on in life. So one of the things that they talk about is balance in the use. In this case, for every 15 minutes on the device, taking about 2 to 5 minutes in which to stretch. Now that sounds a little bit much, but I think the idea here is to say that just like if you're going to do sporting events and such, you stretch out before you do it. I think one of the things that we might consider in the school system is to talk about appropriate health, and the idea of maybe doing some stretching if they're going to be utilizing the devices. And this goes also for taking your finger and tapping on the device. Typically on computers you have a spring-loaded key, which is giving a force feedback. On the screens you're sitting here tapping. And the idea is to continuously tap, and that puts a lot of pressure and strain on the tip of your finger, and you can get pain and associated pain and such that can radiate up your finger through your tendons and such from that action. Neck injuries is a real simple one. The fact that kids, there's a couple things with neck injuries, but also can be a hazard is kids that have devices that are walking along on their device and not paying attention to where they're walking. That happens all the time, and especially in cities, they're talking about people that get hit by cars or and such because they're not thinking about their surroundings, they're just thinking about their typing on their device. The neck strain issues comes up with the fact that people tend to walk around with the device looking down and typing and bending over, and the posture issue, holding it low where you need to really bring it up and type in that sense. The other aspect of it is how you hold it in regards to talking on the phone. And a lot of kids, and myself too, put it on your ear and you're speaking, doing something else. Once again, if you do that more often, it can lead to different types of neck strains and such. Also, the ergonomics of laptops, having the thing propped up, can reduce some of those strains and such on the back. So in regards to neck injuries, posture, limiting time, placing placing devices on the desktop instead of holding them, and use of hands-free devices such as Bluetooth or something in which you can, when speaking on or using the telephones. Thank you. I'll just leave it with the fact is that I think one of my positions in regards to this is I'm not for or against it. With Jim, I don't think my second grader is going to be carrying in any type of device. But I might give a little on that because I'm a parent, and if my son comes back and feels like he's ostracized because he doesn't have a device, most likely I'll cave and give him a device. But one of the things I want to state about it is that one of these things that was discussed is the idea that the kids power down when they come to school. I think the fact is now that I always looked at that as a respite between their technology usage. They use it at night, they use it in the morning. Heck, my son uses his gaming system on the bus. And I can even see problems with on the bus. Sitting there doing this, and all of a sudden the bus stops short and people slide forward because they're not ready to brace for impact, or their reaction time is diminished and such. So I think that a lot of these issues need to be just talked about, and maybe the kids educated in regards to the potential health risks, so at least they understand it, and maybe they start to do some things that are proactive with the usage of the device. Thank you.